A 2 day summit of the BRICS group took place last week in the obscure Russian city of Ufa. Heads of state of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which is what BRICS stands for, met to discuss the formation of alternative international banking institutions, and in particular the new Development Bank, or NDB. The fiscal crisis in Greece and Greece's dependence on the Eurozone and International Monetary Fund is another symptom of the dominance of Western capital and neoliberal policies worldwide. For far too many years, poor nations have turned to these institutions for loans and been forced to restructure their economies in favor of corporate interests in exchange. If the powerhouses of the global south, such as India and China, can offer an alternative fund, there is hope of challenging Western financial hegemony. Joining me to answer that question is Samir Dossani. He's an advocacy coordinator of ActionAid International. He's been working on issues of debt, development, human rights, and the international financial institutions for over 10 years. He's former executive director of 50 Years is Enough, the U.S. Network for Global Economic Justice, and he's currently ActionAid's expert on the BRICS effort. Welcome to Uprising, Samir.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for joining us. Well, first, how much economic clout do the BRICS countries really have? I mean, when we think of India and China and Russia, among them, of course, they have enormous populations. But in terms of economic clout, the U.S. has remained supreme for a very long time. Do these countries, when they join forces, compare to the U.S.'s economic clout?
Yeah, the short answer is no, Sonali. The U.S. is still far and away the world's biggest economy, but China is number two now. And that's not insignificant. I mean, it overtook Japan about a year and a half ago, I believe, as being the second largest economy. So the way that the world used to work for many, many years after World War II, which is basically that you have three main trading blocks, the U.S. kind of functioning on its own, Europe, and then Japan, and some sort of smaller Asian partners around Japan as well, Korea being the notable one. That's no longer described sort of global trade or global economics. And the creation of the BRICS, which really came out of the mishandling of the 2007-2008 global financial crisis on the part of the G7 and the United States in particular, that's one indication that we can't think about the world as a unipolar world, as a world where the U.S. can call all the shots anymore.